Weinberg studies the effects of space travel on the brain,
right,
and shapes, and whether they, why they come home depressed. Elizabeth Bondar, our famous first woman in space, it isn't generally known in Canada, but she was depressed, massive depression for the first 2 weeks after she landed, and so they really had to study what's going on.
Sure.
And they found that they were missing, that there was the familiar shapes that we see every day not in the space program. And that's what these people were doing, working with the Canadian Space Agency to suggest putting shapes in parts of the shuttle or redesigning things to familiarity for your subconscious.
Right.
It says they talk to orca whales up there, and they photograph the brain and put pictures in front of you, and then colors flash, and they photograph it. It's the only place at the university you can get a parking spot because no one knows it's there. I didn't know, and I went there. So, and he told me things. He said, get another flight, duplicate the phenomena that you've got, duplicate what you did, try to get the 2 different colors, try to get multiple ones in a shot, because the STS-61, I was quite naive, especially this second thing. And so I remembered that, and I recorded the next shuttle, and I knew what I was looking for, and I found it.
You mentioned something to me earlier about the lighting conditions and the fact that you felt they were self-illuminating.
Well, I needed... yes, at first I actually thought, I was my own worst skeptic. I've learned that in television. You don't present anything unless you're totally researched and sure. But I began to discover that these were appearing in dark, when the camera, when the sun went down, when the sun came up, when there was refraction, when there wasn't refraction. I found them under every lighting condition, and my only conclusion from looking at the video and continually looking at it is obviously they're self-illuminating.
Did they change at all under those different lighting conditions when apertures change, or the sun goes down, or the craft's in a different position? Do they appear to be any different?
No, in fact they appear to differ just from every time you capture them. Sometimes you capture them when they seem to have slowed down and you see more of a craft structure. When they're moving very quickly, you'll see this long streak. Right. But the interesting thing is, after after 1,000 of them, and I still photographed them, you lay them side by side and you start to see common things. You start to see markings. You start to see kind of shape. It's not... So
you've almost been able to classify them in a way.
Well, actually, I've been calling them the second phenomena, but the way I see this is everything to date that has been shot by humans from here, from the ground, I call one. That's one. The space phenomena, the spheres, outer space, that's shot from NASA's cameras is 2, and I thought it would stop at 2. But this phenomena I call number 3. There are 2 space phenomena. And this third phenomena, I don't blame people for not discovering it or anything. I don't think anybody has tried not to discover it.
Well, it sounds to me like you had to go through a lot of work.
I just wonder how many people with my technical television background have tried this. And I don't think a lot of scientists have. I just know that Professor Weinberg was absolutely knocked out of his... He just couldn't believe it. And as I built the sample up, I didn't believe it more. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's reached the point. But I don't want to take anything away from the spherical phenomena. The second phenomena, to me, is absolutely unimpeachable in a preponderant sense. I was quite satisfied with finding 2. Phenomena 2, the first space phenomena. Sure. And I still am. But this third phenomena is so against all of what we expect it to be that it's intrigued me much more. It's not no archetypal, no...
Martin, going back a little way, you mentioned being your own worst critic, if you like, or debunker. Have you endeavoured to find video footage or feed from other sources to compare with yours?
Oh, good one. Thank you. Yes, yes. I did everything. I taped through 2 different cable systems. I taped into direct dishes, and then the most extraordinary discovery of all was I recorded CNN's live feed of a recent shuttle. I think it was STS-86 or 84, one of them, of the docking. And even though I guess a lot of people were looking for the spherical thing that knew about them, I was looking for the third phenomena, because I can see it now, you know, with that, my eye can catch it. And this, to me, would show that it has nothing to do with my machines, and it has nothing to do with the dishes, and this looked like good. And it also was a great chance for me to prove to myself that...
That what you were saying was really there.
I believe that if this is there, it has to be there all the time. It can't not be there and be there. And so I figured I'd take the biggest chance of all. And so I broke down the CNN footage. There they were. And
even on the CNN footage?
Yes. And, well, it's documented, and I don't think CNN even knew what they were seeing. But what stunned me is that was almost, well, how much more do you need, you know? I really did not, I didn't want to come forward with the third phenomena, but then the second space phenomena, until I was able to be absolutely certain that this had some substance to it. I didn't want to lose the second phenomena. I didn't want someone to get diverted on this, shoot it down,
Sure.
and then say, well, that means that incredible spherical phenomena that is I also documented in great abundance. I didn't want that to be dissed.
After you'd collected this material, you mentioned the gentleman at the planetarium that decided that he didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to any other? Have you spoken to NASA or any qualified people there that might be prepared to comment on what you've seen?
It's so hard to tell the story, but again, I then met a physicist from California, actually from Topeka Canyon, who used to be a part of a think tank there, red, blue, or blue-green, or something like that.
Sure.
Who cares what it's called? But the fact is, he was very, very interested in the scientific end as well. We stayed away from anyone that was going to have gray aliens and things in it. You know, we were really looking to substantiate it as just there. And he started corresponding with the astrochemistry department at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And the extraordinary thing about that is that he didn't communicate on my behalf with just that department. He communicated with the head of the astrochemistry department. And I've turned over the documentation which outlines the whole set of email conversations in which at no time does he say that the spherical phenomena is not on the tape. What he does is basically comment accepting the premise.
Do the emails discuss both phenomena or just the spheres? No,
that's the interesting thing. We decided that, you know, that it would be better to continue our work, which is massive. I have massive amounts from every flight of these spherical